Greetings, my think tank. We're back today with another video. Happy new month. I hope everyone's been well, and I hope the month goes all right with everyone. I'm back today to do a review on culture and identity. Basically, BBC Radio 1 Extra did identity and culture last year, and they've done one this year. They were done. I'm here to do a review on their workshop and their conference they had about culture and identity, because in relation to the BBC documentary about Black and British, BBC Radio 1 Extra gave a good review about identity and culture in contemporary times. I felt like it was a younger panel, and it gave like the review of contemporary times now, and they were talking about discussions about race and identity, and they were talking about how black people are treated in Britain and so forth. But what they did not deal with was how culture and identity is different, hence what I'm writing about. Yes, I'm at the computer, I'm still writing, the book's coming out soon. But anyhow, I'm going to deal with it from a psychological viewpoint, and then I'll deal with it with a contemporary and political viewpoint of it. Identity is defined, or can be defined, as the subject or the object. Yeah. Now, culture is different from identity. Culture could be your way of living, food, schools you go to, your beliefs, and so forth. You understand? But identity as a whole is a big perspective, and culture as a whole varies according to different countries. So, when they did their discussion on BBC Radio Extra 1, I think they mixed the two, and what was missing was the elders to tell them about history, what happened with our history, when they were talking about the slavery, the Windrush, the Jamaican Windrush, and so forth. And I felt that if there was something missing, but overall it was a good discussion in contemporary time, targeting the youth, and probably just an overview of things to discuss about and things to tackle within Britain. But I felt that the need to teach culture and identity, the difference of it, is needed. And most of them on the panel, actually, they kept on calling themselves blacks. You're not a black person, you are an African person. We are Africans, we're not black people. Or the Europeans are not white. White is a color, black is a color. Black is really dark, you know. This is black. My mouse is black, you know. How can I say, this is white, you know, white color. So no human being is that color. We are African people, you know. We are melanated people. We have a continent that we come from that is filled with culture and is embraced with culture, you know. But overall, I felt that, you know, this contemporary younger or youthful generation is trying to understand and really unpack what really happened within those days and what's happening now. I feel like we've moved on a little bit, you know, into sort of and making the young ones or the young adults understand about culture and identity on a lower level, you know. But I feel like there's more explanation needs to be done, you know. What BBC One was doing, not BBC One, I rephrased that. I think it was another channel, BBC, ITV, and so forth, BBC Three or ITV, whatever. But BBC One did not put themselves or did not put out themselves to describe what culture and identity, or black British, what it meant, and the contribution that black people, I say black now because this is what people are being groomed to call themselves, the African people, the African man has been groomed to call himself a black person. But literally, we are all Africans. Doesn't matter, Trinidad, Jamaica, Congo, Uganda, any country that is of a continent, that is of a tropical people, it is an African country, continent. Africa is a continent, it's not even a country. And so what I felt, so not a while ago, my friend sent me a video, and it had this reporter who went to report in America. The reporter is probably like from one of those Turkish country or Libyan country. I couldn't tell his cultural background or his, I would say his ethnicity, but he was interviewing this man, this white American nationalist called Taylor, Jared Taylor. He's a white nationalist. He's a renowned white nationalist, and the man said that white people are more educated and smarter than the black people or Asian or anybody from the Asian country. The man, this Mr. Taylor, Jared Taylor, went on to say that not in so many words, America should be a white people's only country, and that what the black people did for America should stay as it is history, and therefore the white privilege should be celebrated more than the black privilege, the African privilege. The African people don't have the privilege to go and come in his country and exercise their cultures. So anyway, the reporter moved on, and he went to Donald Trump's conference. President Trump, currently, I think this is the currently when he was being interviewed by a few reporters in the White House, or in the State House, if you want to call it that. The reporter say to him, surely you cannot deport 11,000 people, right, out of the country because of your need to limit immigration, you know. And Donald Trump just said to him, it wasn't your turn, it's not your turn to speak, shut up, it's not your turn to speak. And then he got his security man, who was standing there with other reporters in the room, be mindful, and took him out, escorted him out of the room by pushing him. And he was saying to this man, do not push me, because I you know, you don't need to push me, don't push me, don't touch me, because that's personal space. So in any event, the security guy took him outside. The reporter took the reporter aside. The security guy said to the reporter that you should go back to your country. That was unfair. Go back to your country. We don't need you here. The man said, I'm American though. I'm an American citizen. So, my beloveds, what I'm trying to say now here is the fact that there is a lack of understanding. Trump has a lack of understanding of what the treaties, the human rights conventions, first of all, and the treaties that they signed, you know, long time ago, even the Magna Carta years ago, that the Queen's mother signed, you know, it's like 800 years, that is still practiced today. It's only modernized. He has to understand that you cannot take people out of a land when they have a natural right to stay in this land if exercised with asylum, danger to the human life, and so forth. Lots of people, the Human Rights Treaty, the Human Rights Convention, the treaties that were signed by how many countries, maybe 70-something countries or more, you know. It's just like some countries have not enacted the human rights, but the Human Rights Convention document still stands in any court, you know. Hence why he's only been given 90 days. He's only got 90 days to sort of figure out exactly what he's doing with these deportation cases, you know. Yes, we understand there's immigrants that are, or people in the country that are flooding it in as he wants to think without assessing the situation, or what benefits they've been to these countries or America per se, But having said that, you need to go by the legislations that the whole world signed into treaties. Human Rights Convention in France that was signed by most of the countries in the world. So Donald Trump cannot escape that. This takes me back to last week, the week where I was talking about narcissistic. To me, on a psychological perspective, Trump is a narcissistic character. Trump is a narcissist. That's how I see Donald Trump. It's his way. He has no need for empathy. You don't see no empathy with anybody. It's his way or nowhere. It's about me, 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 me. What Trump says, Trump goes. Trump is a businessman, first and foremost, right? And with narcissistic people that are business minded, they would want to prove people that they can do it, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, naturally speaking. But if you want to prove to someone to the country, now he wants to prove to the country, it's gone beyond himself now that he can do it at the risk of other people's lives. That's a narcissistic thought process. That no, he's not thinking, the implication that might come with it. He's not thinking. I don't know who his advisors are, but he's not thinking in respect of what these countries or America signed, when they went to France, and when the convention, the Human Rights Convention document was signed, so we have to be mindful that there's things that are happening right now. Even Article 50 in the Brexit, there's things happening right now. So this is all a psychological game. As long as if you don't know how the psychological game is going, you will be out on the loop. But in terms of us, in reflection of African people finding their identity, they need to stop calling themselves black. They need to know the difference between culture and identity. This is what was washed down. The culture was washed down. The first thing that was taken from African people was their identity. The subject of who they are. Yeah, those that were taken, and those that remained in the land Africa, their identity is being washed off slowly but surely. With the European culture, slowly but surely. Not all of them. Those that are in the village that know their identity and their ancestral lineage, know what they're talking about, know who they are, and practice, still up to this day, practice culture. So that's my book that I'm writing on. It's coming out very soon, so be sure to get a copy, and I shall see you very soon. Keep on watching Psychological Think Tank 360 and subscribe to my channel, and bring you more topics to come. Bye.